So hi guys, today I'll be sharing with you my book collection. As you can see, I have a lot of books and there's still more books to come. But so far this is my collection. I have about approximately maybe 120, 130 books. So I'm just gonna go through, in no particular order, I'm just gonna go through everything that I own, and hopefully y'all enjoy and might even inspire you to buy and to read some of these books. So let's get started. Okay, so let's go through all the books. So first book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Becoming by Michelle Obama. The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton. The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Morgan and Michael Lennington. The Psychology of Money by Morgan, I believe it's pronounced Housel or Housel. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, one of my favorite authors of all time. Definitely recommend this book, or his books generally. The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon. Really nice if you're into history, especially Christian history as well. A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I think there's a little in there, it's getting old, a little scratch there. Deep Work by Cal Newport. The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. This was gifted to me, really nice if you're into poetry. Emerson's Essays by Ralph Waldo Emerson. How Judges Think by Richard A. Posner. Now this book is in French for any of the French readers. Les guerres commerciales sont des guerres de classe. It's essentially about class wars, globalization, the economy, general like that. Thank you. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Private Equity Demystified by John Gilligan and Mike Wright. The Great Political Theories, from the Greeks to the Enlightenment Age. It's a bit of philosophy, edited by Michael Curtis. I'm currently reading this book, So the Millionaire Fastlane, by MJ DeMarco. Really, really great book. Million Dollar Weekend by Noah Kagan. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Eggerichs. The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. Great book. George Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow. The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. Go Figure, The Economist Explains by Tom Standage. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. This was a Financial Times publication. I really love their guides, especially if you want to find out about financial markets. It is very UK based because I lived in the UK before moving to Canada. But it's really great, but by Glenn Arnold. This is a book published by my brother, Untold Not Untrue, Share Your Testimony by Michelle M. Mombo. Now this is more of a textbook, but I think it's really great if you want to educate yourself on constitutional law of Canada. As you can see, I took so many notes from this. And then I have another Financial Times guide on investing, the definitive companion to investment and the financial markets. The French Revolution by Christopher Hibbert. The Audacity of Hope by Barack Obama. The Fiery Trial, Abraham Lincoln and American Slavery by Eric Foner. What to Do When Faith Seems Weak and Victory Lost by Kenneth E. Hagan. The Power of a Praying Wife by Stormy Omartian. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Dreams from My Father by Barack Obama. The Odyssey by Homer. The complete works of poems of John Keats. Love poetry. It's great. The autobiography by Benjamin Franklin. Napoleon by Alan Forrest. The autobiography of Malcolm X. Shakespeare's Hamlet. As you can see, it's really old. I've had this forever. I think since high school. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Great book. Inherently Unequal by Lawrence Goldstone. This is in French, but it's Maya Angelou. Tant que je serai noire. I'm not sure what the title is in English, but this is one of her classic books, Maya Angelou. My Own Words by the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Free Fall by Joseph Stiglitz. The Rise of Rome by Plutarch. One Step Ahead by Timothy Spangler. The Rape of the Lock and Other Major Writings by Alexander Pope. Another French book, Sagesse, meaning wisdom, by Michel Onfray. Answers to Prayer by George Miller. Grace Abounding by John Bunyan. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Very famous book, very popular. The Mental Toughness Handbook by Damon Zahariadis. Alex's Adventures in Numberland by Alex Bellos. Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity by David Allen. Strategize to Win by Carla A. Harris. Founding Fathers by various artists. Just really brief history on the Founding Fathers. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. One of my favorite authors, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Improve Attention to Detail by Chris Denny. I brought this when I started working at a law firm, just to improve my attention to detail. Really important skills. So this book was really great guide for that. This book is in French, but it's Nelson Mandela's A Long Walk to Freedom, Un long chemin vers la liberté. I think I have an English copy, but I need to double check. Another book in French, A Brief History of Philosophy. I had this when I studied in Paris many, many years ago. Start with the Why, or Start with Why by Simon Sinek, or Sinek. Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell. Grit by Angela Duckworth. France, People, History and Culture by Cecile Jenkins. A Brief History of France. The Struggle for Black Equality by Harvard Sitkoff. The Calculus of Consent by James M. Buchanan and Gordon Tullock. The End of Alchemy, Money, Banking, and the Future of the Global Economy by Mervyn King. Exchange Traded Funds and Index Funds, Financial Times Guide. Start Your Own Business by Rieva Lesonsky. The Social Contract by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The Zaire by Paulo Coelho. The White Man's Burden by William Easterly. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. The Undercover Economist by Tim Harford. My favorite play of all time, Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. I have read this so many times, as you can see. Gettysburg by Stephen W. Sears. Another Emerson's essays. The Rise of Political Lying by Peter Oborn. The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville. On Liberty and the Subjection of Women by John Stuart Mill. The Great Political Theories from the French Revolution to Modern Times. In Defense of the Republic by Cicero. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Or Covey. Superclass, How the Rich Ruined Our World by David Rothkopf. Othello by William Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. The Autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr. So I have Sacred Marriage by Gary Thomas. Team of Rivals, The Political Genius of Abraham Lincoln by Doris Kearns Goodwin. Richard P. Feynman, 6 Easy Pieces. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Relentless, From Good to Great to Unstoppable by Tim S. Grover. The No-Nonsense Guide to Global Finance by Peter Stalker. A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I don't know which part of the series this is, but I think it was 13. Oh, I'm not sure. I have another copy of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Oh. Finance Basics. Blockchain Revolution, How the Technology Behind Bitcoin and Other Cryptocurrencies is Changing the World by Don Tapscott and Alex Tapscott. The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. The Art of Learning by John Whitkins. The State of Africa, A History of the Continent Since Independence by Martin Meredith. So we have The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. In Defense of Globalization by Jagdish Bhagwati. The Iliad by Homer. The One Thing by Gary Keller with Jay Papasan. Oh, it's about to fall. So I'm just going to prop them over so they don't fall. We have Globalization and Its Discontents by Joseph Stiglitz. Excerpts from Experts by Marketing by Mark Ritson. It's getting a little harder. So How to Start and Build a Law Practice. I am a lawyer, so this was a great book to help with just getting started and how to set up a law firm, my own solo practice. The Richest Man in Babylon by George L. Clason or Clayson. So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. This is the French Aristotle, the Rhetoric. This was gifted to me, The Winning Keys by Gareth Morgan. The Bourne Ultimatum by Robert Ludlum. One of my favorite books, The 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent. And another Robert Greene, which I love, Mastery. I loved reading this. Oh. Excuse that. Mastery by Robert Greene. We have The Second Treatise of Government by John Locke. Political philosophy. Very famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The Gettysburg Address, or The Gettysburg Address by Penguin Books. Great ideas. I've had this for a long time. The Leviathan by Thomas Hobbes, more political philosophy. And a little bit of French philosophy by Voltaire, L'Ingénu. So these are all of my books. I do, of course, have more. These are sort of textbooks for my law practice that I use. I also have some other general books on fasting and prayer, meditation, testimonies, and just sort of overall spiritual growth and devotions. But yeah, this is my collection. So I hope to purchase more books, and my goal is to ultimately have about over 1,000 books in my collection. That might take a few years because I just buy here and there, and of course I'm reading all of the books. But yeah, thanks for watching. I am so proud of this collection of books, and hoping for more in 2026.